Hi, I'm Nora Burns with Insightful Endeavors International, and today's question comes from a human resource professional who'd like to know what resources I recommend for HR pros planning to sit for the PHR and SPHR certification exams. So now, of course, the resources I share are in addition to following PHR, SPHR on Twitter, where we post daily flashcard terms that HR professionals should know while preparing for the exam that you can look up, write out, and learn, as well as some tips and tricks on obtaining, and maintaining PHR and SPHR certification. In addition to those, I recommend the Human Resource Management text by Jackson and Mathis. This is a fabulous text, especially for PHR candidates. It is a college textbook, of course, on HR. It goes through all the different areas that are covered on the exam, has some great web tools that are tied into it, a great glossary if you're simply looking up terms. So there's great reference materials for you there. The other I recommend is this one, the PHR SPHR Study Guide, and her last name is spelled Bogardus. And this is currently in the 3rd edition, or at least I currently have the 3rd edition. I used the 1st edition in preparing for my exam. She includes in here a CD with some practice exams. It's laid out very well to just read through and highlight yourself or to look up particular areas of interest. I also recommend, of course, the SHRM Learning System because it's a fabulous collection of all the information that on all the different topic areas that are covered on the exam. It is a little pricey, so you might want to talk to a group of HR folks that you're preparing to study with and go all in together and buy a study guide, but please do not make photocopies of it. It is copyrighted material, so if you're going to go that way, you simply need to use it as a shared resource if you can't afford your own. You can find copies of all of these books on eBay. You won't want to go back more than 1 or 2 editions, and you're not going to want to go back more than 2 years on the learning system because legislation will have changed that's not relevant anymore. So keep it as up to date as possible. To sit for the exam, you want to have the best materials available to you. I also recommend reading HR Magazine, the last year or so of HR Magazine. Go back and reread those editions because remember, the answers on the PHR and SPHR have to do with what the overall body of knowledge for HR is, and it's what most HR practitioners would choose as the best possible answer, not necessarily what your company does or what you would want to do, but what is the best possible answer. So reading things like the HR Magazine will definitely help. I also recommend writing out flashcards. There are so many lost minutes in every day. So write out flashcards of terms that you need to know or acronyms that you need to know and put a stash of them in your car and another stash in whatever other car you regularly ride in, your best friend's car, your partner's car, your spouse's car, what have you. Have a stash at work, have a stash in your purse, in your briefcase, have a stash by the computer at home. That way all of that time that you have waiting in line, waiting on hold, waiting for your computer to boot up, all of that time you can grab and do quick reviews so that you find so much more study time when you're doing things like that. So I highly recommend that. If you ride the subway, it's a great opportunity to do prep work while you're on your way to and from work or where have you. I also recommend sitting down and taking as many practice tests as you possibly can. We're not used to sitting down and answering questions for 4 hours, so you need to get yourself into that habit of doing that and get it into muscle memory that you can sit and read that many questions at one sitting because you get 1 4-hour spot to sit for this exam. So make the most of that. So those are some of the resources I recommend in preparing for the PHR and SPHR exam. Again, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PHRSPHR. If you have any questions, please send us an email at info@insightfulendeavors.com. It's info@insightfulendeavors.com. And may all of your endeavors be insightful.